Welcome to Life Sutras, where we have empowering conversations with thought leaders that will inspire you to be a healthier and happier version of yourself. We will explore science, the subconscious, as well as the spiritual. Good health equals harmony between many dimensions of mind, body, environment, and the unknown. Hi, I'm Aanchal Bhatia, author of Your Doctor is Not God and How to Be the CEO of Your Health. I believe that health is by choice, not by chance. I am a clinical psychologist by education and an entrepreneur by profession, and a social change agent by passion. I'm a wife and a mother of 2 boys. My husband and I are one formidable team, and that's how we founded Sydenham Clinic, a private health management clinic here in Houston. Welcome and let's explore. Hello and welcome to Life Sutras. My name is Aanchal Bhatia, and today I am joined by the one and only Chef Monica Pope. She is the Alice Waters of the Third Coast. Monica has been revolutionizing the way Houston eats and the entire Houston food scene since the early 90s. And she's also a James Beard nominated chef. Her restaurant Sparrow Boulevard Bistro, amongst others, elevated the way Houstonians ate. Her cooking classes, the private dining experiences she curated, are all credited. They're the ones that made Houston be recognized as the food capital of the South. I met Monica when I was organizing a women's health seminar for our YPO chapter here in Houston. And the first time we met, there was a connection. I felt there was like some sort of a connect. And we spoke for hours and hours and hours. We were sitting outside a small cafe. And I knew that both of us are going to help each other fulfill our dreams. And for Monica, her dream has always been to change the way Houston eats. For me, it's always been empowering people with better healthcare choices. So I feel there's a good connection out there. So without further ado, I want to invite the curative culinary director of Sydenham Clinic, Chef Monica Pope.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Monica.
You're welcome.
We're ready to have some fun?
Yeah, this is fun times, yeah.
Yeah. I think the first thing I want to talk to you about is very young, like I think it was 17, when you had this, you made a bold statement to yourself and to everybody that you want to change the way.
Well, it wasn't to everybody, but everybody asked me if I'm from here, and I did grow up here, but I was a swimmer, so I was underwater my entire childhood. Around high school, at Memorial High School, I went to lunch with a swimmer friend at McDonald's. I wasn't eating, but she asked me what I was going to do with my life. She was graduating ahead of me, and I said, I'm going to open a restaurant and change the way Houston eats. She just was like, I looked up, she looked up. I remember it, she remembers it. She's like, well, you've done it, we still keep in touch, but whatever that meant at the time, I don't think I really understood change. I knew it ended up during that time. It's everything. Food is the language of family. So it was me reconnecting with my mom's family and those family food traditions. They were farmers. It was one crop. I stepped into the losing of all this biological diversity. I think we're over 50% now, all these big issues, and also at a time of me trying to find myself and find out who I am and what I'm, going to do. But I said it, and for 18, started at 18 cooking, outside of the home, in businesses, restaurants, and stuff all over the world, and have just tried to figure out what does that change look like. Obviously, every step of the way, it's me changing. going, oh, yeah, I need to change. So
No, I think you can be credited for pivoting a lot along the way and stepping
always,
up.
yeah, I've always been a good pivoter, evolving and adapting, and most of my life, I have found out recently that I've just been reacting, or kind of reacting to stuff that we're afraid of, or things that we're just confused by, but in my culinary career choice, it feels like if I can focus on just action from love and from honesty and health and wellness and peace and all these things, all of my journey, you can see where I've made those steps to make change. Everybody's looking for change, but from what from what point, we have to get back to. I think that's where we connected,
Right.
Most. I guess noticeably was this, that your immediate understanding that illness in all of its forms means something.
Yeah.
There's a metaphorical reason. There's a there's a hereditary reason. There's a environmental reason. There's all these reasons. It's not just you're bad.
Yeah.
And you eat bad or you live bad, whatever. There are reasons we can now. I mean, I did not know this.
Right.
50 years ago. I'm almost 58. Now we can test all the stuff and study it and understand it, and so I'm so excited now with having gone through many a career challenge and health issues, just mental health, and I had breast cancer about 3 years ago. That was another wake-up call. 5 years ago, I had seizures. That was another wake-up call. Yeah, they're all wake-up calls, and all the doctors were like, well, it's this and this. And it's like, yeah, but it's also this. Yeah, it's like, I know what my wake-up call is.
Right.
Or at least I'm in tune enough to know what it is.
And each time, somehow you've come out stronger. I mean, if you just see the kind of experiences you've had in life.
Stronger, more confident, just more focused, more resolute, just like, okay, as challenging and painful and hurtful and successful and everything else, I always come back to, like, I am on my path. This is the path that I have chosen or accepted from somebody who gave it to me. Whatever that was. I'm going to open a restaurant, change the way Houston eats. Who just told me that that's
right.
what I'm going to do? But I accepted the challenge, and I accept my path, and all of the things that happened along the way, were meant to happen. But that's the thing. It's like they're not just meant to happen and then go, okay, well, that happened.
Yeah.
It's like, but what does it mean? And and I've always made meaning from what seemed meaningless, but there's nothing meaningless.
Right.
I made meaning, and I think some people criticize me for, I think my daughter looked at me one time. She's like, it doesn't have to mean anything. And I'm like, well, but actually it does.
I hear that a lot.
It means this, sweet. Coming from another awesome, person who knows stuff means stuff. But,
not everybody is bold enough to face the situation and lean into it and say, okay. And, saying that to yourself, that I know this is happening for a purpose, helps you really take it head on. And I think that's the kind of person you are, that, you're like, bring it on, I can deal with it. And it's painful. It is not easy. It's not like, okay, I don't care kind of.
Yeah, in the last few years, when all this stuff kind of came down, like I let my businesses come down, my personal relationships all just disintegrated on some level and disappeared. I stopped. I didn't stop this, but I did try to spin it out. I stopped inadvertently, accidentally blaming, myself or anybody else. It's like I just have to sit in this, and whatever it was, I could have said, "Oh, I lost my business because, people didn't come to my restaurant anymore because food critics said mean things about me." But I mean, I have stories galore, but it's like, no, hold on. This is your choice, Monica. This is not this relationship. This restaurant business relationship isn't working anymore. You're doing superhuman feats. You are extraordinarily talented. You provided Houston with hospitality, local hospitality, wonderful food, all these things. It's like, what is the relationship's not working for me. And so yes, at some point people just have to embrace what they've created. When my therapist kind of took me on a Sunday morning after 25 years of therapist, and she's like, "Monica, you created all this," and I was like, "It's true. We self-create all of our own misery, all of our own illness, our discomfort, our dis-ease, our it's this up here that's deciding how we react to whatever is going on around us, whether somebody poked me or somebody poked somebody else. It's like, what's your reaction to that? So I try very hard to just stay in my seat, if you will, and just it sounds kind of hippy-dippy, hokey-pokey, but it's just basically you just have to sit in it and try to understand what's your next move, what's your next step forward. And for me, I've never left my ingredient, which is food and feeding people.
Your language.
My language is my language is language, but it's also through food.
Yes.
That language of food, and it's not just a recipe. It's not just something amazing. One thing that's amazingly nourishing or healthful or something. But the whole relationship around food. Everything I do is about helping people create a better relationship to food, through them.
So when you decided that, okay, hold on, I need to take responsibility. This is my life. These are my choices. That's when the shift when the shift started in your life.
Yeah. It was really. I described my lives, my personal and professional lives, about 2015, that they just came down like the World Trade Centers, and I just let them come down. I mean, visually, I was just sort of like, everything I've worked for personally and professionally is just, they just got to come down, And I was also reading A Course in Miracles. I don't know if you've ever done that work. It's to me, it's what saved my life, because my now ex-wife brought it into our marriage, our relationship, and when she left, I was just left with this little cheat sheet forward thing, and I just read it over and over and over and over again. And then I got the book, and then I did the work. It's 365 days of a daily practice of unlearning reaction to fear, essentially. Unlearning, which is so timely now, which is what I'm hoping people will understand about the Black Lives Matter and Any Lives Matter is unlearning the fear-based reactions to anything different. It could be a friggin' watermelon radish, and you'd be like, I'm scared, and it's just like, oh my God, it looks like a watermelon. It's radish. It's or anything.
Tell us more about these practices. And from whatever I know of you, I know one thing, you're very disciplined and very diligent. So if you're saying 365 days,
so
I can imagine you're really doing the work.
So the thing that that I had the cliff notes, if you will, and it was just this 6-page condensation of this 365-day project. And some people do it, forever, like 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, whatever. They do it forever. I did it the way I did it, which is the way I do things, but understanding, which my now ex-wife, did not understand. She just threw it against a wall and then handed it out to other people because she didn't want to do the work. You don't read it. It's a practice. You don't read it. There's a lesson a day or a meditation day or a thought a day or whatever. At the beginning, you don't even you don't even know what the hell it means, and you don't read it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to understand it. You just keep going.
You reflect on it.
And you don't do 8 in a day. You can stay on that day as long as you bloody want to, or you can go backwards.
So it's a thought. It's one thought
it's like this mantle is not real. Nothing around you is real. Whatever. That goes on for like weeks. Of different lessons to help you understand that none of this is real. This is all an illusion. Our egos.
Yeah.
This world, that's why the World Trade Center, the brick and mortar, all the stuff that everybody talks about, structural things, it's like they're not real. So when I could let it all go, and then the shift is a miracle. That's the Course in Miracles. The shift is this miracle of then finding, action from love. So when you start to take responsibility for all the reacting to every hurtful thing that was said or done, or who left and what wasn't enough and all this thing. Now I just look around at people and I'm just like, it's enough. When you know enough is enough, then that's enough. And people, it's so hard to get to that point. That's what I call sustainability, which I think is the kind of, I've been through so many buzzwords in my career of, organic and clean and, good and fair and healthy and slow food and, all these things. But sustainability to me is this circle of care that has no, to give and to give and to give. Until it feels like you're receiving. You see what I'm saying?
Yes. I mean, it's an ecosystem, right? Everything in this world is interdependent.
Right.
And when you spoke about how this whole world is an illusion, in our culture, we call it Maya. That, yes, it is an illusion. And I think it's very beautiful.
This life is Maya. You call Maya.
Yeah. The illusion is Maya.
The illusion is Maya. Okay.
And it's beautiful that you've had these conversations with yourself, because not everyone is so brave.
Left. I mean, it sounds like, I started to say, when I start to feel sorry for myself, that's where I know I'm like, get over it. I was painfully but blissfully on some level left alone, like by everybody. And it looked scary to some people. It looked scary to my daughter. It looked scary to some of my doctors are like, you live outside.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah. And I would wake up every day and just face, if it was money I owed, or I was going to be thrown in jail, or any painful thing that I had to deal with, just face. I did that. And Luckily, at the time, I started doing anything. I pulled off every self-help book that was in my shelf.
Yes.
I just read it. I had to read in order to just not feel nauseous and nervous and anxious. I would just like wake up in the middle of the night, just start reading, and then I'd be like, oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
It was all horrible, painful stuff, but I'm
Right.
like, okay, but good. Yeah, because now I understand this a little bit more. Okay.
Yeah.
I was doing A Course in Miracles. I was reading Pema Chodron, the Buddhist monk who writes some really amazing, kind of short books, but just on this big, huge stuff like letting go,
But you were not alone as well, right? Because
Well,
when you did that
exactly.
crowdfunding,
Exactly.
when you needed help,
No, that's
a lot of people showed up. And now with what you're doing with sustainability, the farmers market,
that's
you're
what-
loved
That's what happened when I was, and when I say I was alone, I mean
in your mind.
in my life at the time. Yes, it appeared that everybody, my staff and my daughter and my families and everything, like just gone. Like in some ways, it's like you have, let's say, what do you call it? The leprosy.
Leprosy,
Yeah,
and everyone's
sometimes,
avoiding you like the
everybody's
plague.
just like, don't go near her.
But
She's
you have
got-
COVID.
Yeah, now we all have COVID. So. I don't. But at that time of taking full responsibility for letting go, finally just accepting, okay, you've gone. Yet again, somebody's gone, somebody's left, somebody's died, somebody's whatever. But finally, just trying to understand, like, what is my part in this? I think ultimately was what Michelle helped me with, which is like, you created this all. I guess when you start realizing you are writing the script.
Yes.
Like, it's crazy. Like you say, when I got breast cancer, and you and I connected on this.
Yes.
When I said this is metaphorical, I found out later because I had just moved back inside from outside, back inside to my house where all of this painful personal stuff had happened. I left my restaurant where all that painful professional stuff happened, and I moved back in my house because my daughter missed it. And luckily, I was going to be kicked
Did you
out
move back into the room because you were not brave enough to go into your room, right?
I sort of just moved back into my bathroom, but I really don't need more than 100 square feet to live in. But I turned it into my cook shop, and by tiny little steps every day, it works as my cook shop downstairs, and I live upstairs. But I walked smack dab into what is the present tense now of almost losing my house. Now I'm in foreclosure. I get breast cancer, right breast. That means you got then the GoFundMe. So suddenly you realize when you do the work.
Yeah.
And step finally out of the past in some ways, all that stuff I was trying to understand that had happened for 50 some odd years. And then you're like, oh, great. So now I get breast cancer. Great. So, and then it turns out how metaphorical, because GoFundMe goes to 40,000. Of course, the entire community is around me. They're like, these are the people that, and what happened? What happened to your restaurant?
Yeah.
Will you ever have another one? Did you fail? Did you quit? Did you get bored?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like that. It's like that movie. It's a Wonderful Life, where at the end he just, he doesn't jump on. Then he comes back, and of course the entire town is.
So you're back. I mean, a lot of people thought like, where's Monica? Like, you've disappeared. A lot of
somebody at the market said she didn't see me standing there. She's like, I thought she died, and I was just like, I'm right here. I didn't move very far away, and I didn't die. But
so, what's next? I mean, Monica, I think you've come back. You've come back after a lot of introspection, a lot of inner work. You've been through hardships, and now I think you're operating from pure intent. I mean, your intent, sustainability, farm to table eating, one table eating. Your values are in each cell. I mean, you breathe them, you live them.
What was that word? What?
Each cell, like in your cellular levels. And now that you're operating from this powerful space, what's next?
It's funny. I kind of don't even. I'm part of living in the present, and being the present is not really thinking about the future,
right?
Because you can't really control the future, and I probably spent half my life, future, like
right.
when I make this, when I do this, when I, whatever. I'm not. I kind of go just day to day, but this book that I'm writing that may take the rest of my life to write it and finish it. I'm not going to. Well, maybe I will tell you. The first line is, "By the time you read this, I'll be dead." Of course, it's metaphorical, but many a time it didn't look so metaphorical over the last few years. But but the last line, and it involves my spirit animal, poet, writer friend, gave me a stack of Buddhist papers. He's more of a Buddhist, and there was this one where the cook for the guy, whoever, let's say it's the Dalai Lama or something,
right?
He's cooking and he burns himself or something, and then suddenly he realizes everything's connected. Like he suddenly just figured it all out. Like, oh my God. And he goes and runs to his teacher, person that he's cooking for, and he's like, I get it. And he's like, so now what?
Right.
And his teacher just says, keep on cooking. And it's
so is that the last line? Keep on cooking?
Yeah, basically, that's kind of how I feel every day, where it's like, I haven't always enjoyed cooking. I haven't always enjoyed, cooking for a business. I haven't always, I used to enjoy cooking for my family. Like all these things,
right.
It's like I am reintroducing, especially at this time with COVID, of having to pivot, having already had decided to rejoin the markets and do some stuff. This isn't even stuff like, oh, here's my, special menu of tonight. I'm a celebrity chef. No, it's just like, here's some amazing bone broth. Here's some granola. Here's what I live off of, every day. And now during COVID, people, freaking out and afraid they're going to starve to death or whatever.
Right.
So I do the curbside delivery. So I'm cooking again. I've got a Planet Forward show. So and then we just reintroduce what we believe in, right?
Yes.
So we want to get back to the interactive cooking classes where we teach you how to make the things that you want to make and love to eat and want to feed your family. That's what's interesting. What's happened with COVID is it sort of reminded people, like some people, like, I need to do this for my family, or I need to do this for myself.
Yeah.
What was I doing before? Why was I complaining? Like all these things, all those complaints will still be there. But to see the farmers markets, vendors, artisans, ranchers, everybody, their businesses triple, quadruple, just tells you that and you need to, Michael Pollan, right? He wrote an article, I think it's called The Illness of Our Food System. I mean, basically, COVID and all this other stuff that's happened,
right,
just all points to the illnesses of the systems.
Right.
Including Black Lives Matter, including, hashtag Me Too, including any of our relationships. Right. There's illness in dis-ease, uncomfortableness, whatever, in the systems. Yeah. So to break down, I think I just want to continue to break down the dysfunctional systems of myself. Right. My family, my cook shop, right. My business.
And for you, I know your farmers market is your family. Houston is your family. Yeah. I know you have a very large heart. And in fact, I'm really excited for you to bring these values. So here at Sydenham Clinic, earlier this evening, I was roaming around with a plastic cup and everybody's like, are you holding a plastic cup in this mug? Monica's coming. She's like the police. So it's like if our entire value system comes from you, whether we buy from women entrepreneurs, you made us, you've done the kitchen, you've got the crockery, cutlery. So in an essence, you're bringing those values.
Absolutely.
And
sustainability, relationships, it's intention, intentional. You can see now they're just the numbers don't lie. I said that to somebody today and they argued with me. But if you talk about, I think it's like 10 or 12% of producers, some in the film business, 10% are women, 12% or whatever. Those are numbers that don't lie, or whatever. I was reading police numbers and reading Black Lives, all this stuff. It's just the numbers don't lie. Yeah. If every single purchase, every single transaction, whether economic or otherwise, is intentional. I support this farmer, this rancher, this artisan, this person for this reason, whatever it is. Yeah. It's all about sustainability and sustaining the community. First and foremost, it extends all the way to, big boxes, which, we know the names and stuff. I do sometimes have to get things from that, but then I'm always reminded, by my friend who has River Oaks Book Club. I was joking because my Untamed book hadn't come yet. It was, and she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, do you have it? I was like, I'm so sorry. It was just a wake-up call. So now I browse this bookstore, River Oaks. I was like, I should be down there.
Great.
So
awesome.
Intention and consciousness, conscientiousness and consciousness and intention, I think fundamentally starts to heal yourself, yourself, your bodily.
Do you think this consciousness and this sense of responsibility that you've taken, it can be a double-edged sword sometimes, because sometimes we can take too much responsibility and be very hard on ourselves?
I used to be very.
Has that eased out a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. I think part of that is the wake-up call of after the seizure, blah blah blah. Yeah. The breast cancer that support community was amazing, and also in my local community, one and the same, but also in my doctors and everything, of that. This is, and I always felt this about cancer. This is my bastardized version of sort of cancer is sort of the codependent disease, and let's say heart issues are more hereditary or lifestyle, let's say.
Right.
I think the self-care piece, part self-care, not being selfish, and being first and foremost, I have to take care of myself.
Right.
I cannot take care of most women and moms, and people feel they can take care of everybody else but themselves.
Yeah.
So that's an ongoing challenge.
So I mean,
physically, just because I'm older, because of some of my past medical issues of just the heat and dehydration and sleep deprivation and stuff, but that's what's so exciting about being able to work here and work with y'all, is to understand that I can heal even the 57 years of
oh yeah, we're all going for 120. We're going to be living a long time here.
I'm telling you.
But, that's true, because an empty cup cannot fill another. And just nourishing yourself, and I know for sure your bone broth is, It is, I mean, by far the most famous liquid after oil in Houston. And I had a shot of it this afternoon just to get it primed for this interview with you. How did you stumble upon? I mean, it is really soul food. I mean, your bone broth. How did you stumble upon that?
Again, I'm always open to. I have been open to everything that's happened to me, whether I self-created it or not. I was open to a farmer's market happening. I was open to working with Allie Miller, food is medicine. I met her at the farmer's market. You know, everything's kind of connected to the local community, but I was open to it. Years ago, a long time ago, 6, 7, 8 years ago, Allie had a client who she said, "Would you make bone broth?" My whole business was just, you know, I was like, I don't have time to make bone broth, even though we did it all anyway. So I couldn't get my head around it. Sometimes you just can't get your head around, like, what do you mean? Yeah. On top of me, I have to save somebody else too. But it came back around recently when I before I had joined the farmer's market again, like a year and a half ago, this guy reached out to me again and said, "Hey," and then that was a year and a half ago, and I was like, suddenly did have time. I had nothing but time. I had no customers, nothing. So I was like, I can do that for you. But I did it the way that I do it, and I used Three Sisters, Sarah, amazing chicken farmer friend, and I did it the way we did it in the restaurant. And Sarah asked me one time. She said, "Well, can I taste your, well, I make it too, you know." And she's like, why is yours so much better? I think it's only a combination of just, I am a chef. And so we have basic, I caramelize it first and then, filtered water and go 72 hours, which is what we used to do with our veal stock, our beef stock, we would go 72 hours. I just naturally because I see the water out there. I see the brown water. It's like This isn't bone broth. And so I just do that with chicken as well. Chicken, beef, duck, whatever I have. And it gets all of the goodness out, which is the point. And also, people just, the system out there of, what's the cheapest, quickest, fastest bone broth, the latest, superfood. Oh, here we just, Instapot some crappy chicken from God only knows where. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it starts really in the animal, in the field, the grass fed. Yeah. You use this term, and many other people use farm to table, but they're not really understanding the roots of that totally. In terms of a tree being the nervous system of an entire, forest and where everything's happening. To turning that tree into a table, and then all the food that comes. Yeah.
And how much goes into it, and so many people are involved in the process.
Literally, the big boxes, it's just 0.0 nutritional value, flavor, cheap, empty.
Right. No calorie. I mean,
no relationship. Like you couldn't,
no nutritional value. Yeah. There's no, and I know for sure. I've seen the bone broth simmering in your house all the time, and you constantly go and sprinkle some love. There's so much love and passion in it. But
I like to see, the bones start up here, and then by the third day, have all dissolved in there. My dogs have been eating at every hour.
Yeah.
They enjoy the.
No, we look forward to doing some revolutionary work, because I know you like to do stuff that's different. You're ahead of your times, and I think here at Sydenham Clinic, you have that freedom, you have that infrastructure, and hopefully you don't have the stresses to really unleash that next creative Monica.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to finish the memoir. keep saying that, but that and just cook with people, I think, is kind of it in a nutshell, right?
Yeah.
That's why my one tables kind of involve
Yes.
people cook, finishing up the stuff with me and setting the table, and it all involves a relationship and interaction and connection, and I hate to say, the brick and mortar restaurants, some will definitely come back, but certainly not a lot of them. That we're all craving craving the connection, but how do we do that safely now? And for me, it's interesting coming full circle, where what I was drawn to is now actually kind of safer,
for sure.
So
and people can I think it'll be beautiful because people can come here to Sydenham Clinic and have these one table private events where you'll be part of it. So you're connecting with people.
Right.
I think that sort of one-on-one connectedness you can't achieve in a restaurant when you're feeding so many people and so many different tables and there's no one table.
Well, that's the thing. It's like table 22, table 32, everybody is connected at that one
I'm excited.
table. But,
I'm really looking forward to it. But before we go today, I always ask all my guests, and take it the way you want to, but what is your secret sutra for your life?
So tell me the sutra thing.
So
again.
sutra in Sanskrit means rule. So Kama Sutra is the rules for sex and relationships. So secret sutra is your sutra for anything in your life. Your secret rule.
Secret. Well, I'm going to say what I think I understand. This is the latest thing that our first class might be on because I have this young girl who wanted this class. This idea of mise en place, to put into place.
Right.
I think I've been cooking a lot lately, so and I can cook for hundreds of people, myself.
Yeah.
But also living just this ability to put the very important things in place on a daily basis, part of the Course in Miracles, that daily practice of, you don't start the day without a prayer, a meditation, a lesson, something.
A little one practice.
Something. I have poetry by my coffee thing, and I just read a poem. I love poetry.
Every morning, first thing.
I have and I just right now it's Ocean Vuong, and it just has this way of if I were to give you the rules, it would be this mise en place of this is how I have to start my day.
Right.
It's a daily life, right? It isn't just sort of, 10 years from now I'm going to retire and do what I really want to do. I always want to learn. Like when I get depressed or, just not excited about life, it's because I don't know, I feel like I'm just standing there not learning anything. So I love to listen. I love to read a poem a day. I hate to say, I love to read. I love to read at night. I love to read in the middle of the night. I love to listen to podcasts and just all these amazing people doing great work. And, it's just that to me is what I've learned about me and the successful me in life, the happy me, is to just keep learning. And these lessons that, they do just keep coming around. You're like, I learned that one. Wait a minute, I love to go back, and I have actually a meditation book, 365-day meditation thing I got in Galveston, my daughter's little witchery place. And then I go back and, I like to go through the 365 days again. There's something about literally what Course in Miracles taught me is it's just each day. Don't argue about it. Doesn't matter if you understand it. Doesn't matter if you, just do it.
Accept it.
Just do it.
Unconditionally accept
just read.
it.
Just feel the lesson and go about your day.
So that is your secret sutra.
That's my secret sutra.
Yeah.
I'd like to teach it, or I don't know what the word is, help somebody else, whether it's with a recipe.
Right.
I usually start my classes like, okay, don't do anything stupid.
Right.
Just do this mise en place. And I'm like, what's that? So it's like, you need all this stuff, line up your shallots, line up your, whatever.
Yeah.
We're not going to make it yet. I just need you to, prep it all down, get it to your station. Yeah. Those are the terms in the restaurant world, and it's the same thing with life. It's like you wake up and you just, what? Yeah. You just,
yeah.
What are you doing today?
Yeah. It's clear intention.
And just make your mise en place list of, okay, well then I've got to do this and this and this and this. Mm-hmm. There's the to-do part, and then there's the living part. But
and then there's the detachment and watching part.
Yeah.
And wow.
And then just sort of seeing how successful that day went.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Monica. This has been a great conversation. I'm really looking forward to the future, and I'm looking forward to...
The future's here.
Yeah, it's arrived. It's arrived.
I think that was... Pema said that, I think. Freedom is not for future. I mean, that think about that.
Yeah. It's here and now.
It's right here. But you have to let go of the past, and you have to...
Let go of the future.
It's not... Yeah,
no,
it's right here. Freedom's right now.
So with that very, very powerful thought, I think I'm going to be sleeping on that thought when I go to sleep tonight. Thank you so much, Monica.
You're welcome.
I am so fortunate to have had this conversation with you because it helps me reinforce a few things that I'm accepting as my life path and principles for my life. And it's encouraging, it's inspiring, and, I want to be as badass as you. Thank you so much.
The baddest one is me. And I look forward to starting to program those cooking classes. I think we're going to do it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Until next time, stay tuned in. For us next week, we'll be back with more Life Sutras, and we will interview more inspiring people. Thank you again, and wish you a good day.